Hey, so still making progress on my North Forest playthrough. Unlocked steel now, made a new building for it. Also added a bunch of infrastructure stuff. Yeah, I'll give you a little tour of all the stuff I've made since last time. I'll show you the basement first. It's got a little copper factory in it. And it's making those rolls that it ships next door, and it's also making a ton of wire. Well, a lot for me. And I'm not really doing anything that except storing it now that I got all the cables I need. I showed this building last time, but now it's doing a lot more. The copper rolls get shipped over across this little bridge where it's been used to make rotors in the first floor of this thing. And I added a bunch of machines. I found that alternate screw recipe that doesn't need rods. So most of these things are making screws without any rods being made at all. And some plates back here. And all of it gets shipped down to the first floor. And down here, this is where all the assemblers are. They're making reinforced plates and modular frames. That goes down to the basement where I'm making concrete and storing all the stuff, but I'm not going to show that to you because it's full of spaghetti and it's kind of embarrassing right now. So, except for that copper, the new building here, it's made for the steel, but I don't have steel yet. So I haven't set up the inside because I'm using all the coal that I've got locally for power. But I know where some nearby coal is that I'll ship into it, and then I'll build the steel inside. But I did build it with steel in mind, so it shouldn't have any trouble fitting everything. I think I got a pretty good estimate on the square footage the steel machines are going to need, and I think it'll fit even with this big atrium here. But if they don't, well, I've got that atrium I can use too. I'm going to just kill the atrium. I like it though. That way it goes down to the copper factory on the first floor. So there's 3 floors. They're empty right now. The second floor is big enough for all the constructors. And then up on the top floor, that's where all the assemblers are going to go. I couldn't go underground this time with the belts coming from the miners, so I went elevated this time, and I think it looks okay. I also replaced I used to have these huge, ugly ramps to get from the ground all the way up the cliff. And I replaced it with a massive staircase I really like, but I gotta say, with all the switchbacks, it takes a long time to get up and down. I may use hypertubes this time around. So that's where things stand now, but now that I've unlocked steel, I gotta get it going. I gotta use some new coal. Again, I'm using all the coal I've got to power everything. But I know where some is. It's the same spot that I used last time when I was in the desert, way up on a different cliff over here, by some lakes. And I wasn't sure how to get it down, but then I found this little, you probably all know this, but I found this cave that goes right up to the top. I'm just going to run it down through there. That's it for the update, but if you want to stick around, I'll show you what I went through to get this building. There was, I had a tough time. I went through a whole bunch of buildings and deleted them all until I got this one. All right, got steel. Steel's unlocked. There's a couple things I want to do to finish up the iron factory, and then, but before I start making a steel building, I want to make absolutely sure that I can't put the space elevator up on that hill, because if I can't, I might consider putting it over there on that platform instead of the steel factory. Looks like she goes over the little rock on the right. So I could put it on the left side. Maybe I could squeeze it in. I don't think I want to, though. I wanted to use the whole hill. Okay. Steel factory is going to go on that platform. Before I start the building itself, though, I want to take a look at this platform. I'm not sure I like the octagon thing. I've got this curve on the I'm using on the coal factory. I'm not using it really anywhere else. So I want to see if maybe I can bring that over. I think it's going to be better. It's not going to stick out as far over this cliff valley thing. I think the octagon, or is it a hexagon? It's missing some sides. I think it stuck out too far. This is going to cut it off by quite a bit. Geez, there's still a lot of room underneath. I might make the platform itself be another factory, and then have a steel factory up above it. I could put a lot down here. Like the ceiling of that one is the floor of the steel factory. And if I'm going to do that, I should probably make this bottom part extend out, matching the curve of the top. I've got so much room, I could make it a really thick platform / factory. Okay, here's something I don't like. I was thinking the corner of the steel factory could match the curve of the platform, but it shouldn't be the same radius. It should be a smaller radius. See how this is thicker? I want it to be the same distance from the building, the edge of the platform. I only know how to make two radiuses, 5 and 10 blocks long. Well, one thing I could do is make the platform radius 10 blocks long. That would work. It would still extend out like this, more than I was planning, but still less than the angled version. Yeah, it might work. I think it's worth a try. Okay, this is getting kind of weird. It's like, now it looks like its own factory. I mean, I know that's what I was saying, but a factory on top of a factory is like, it's kind of weird. It's like putting a hat on a hat. Maybe it's the windows. Yeah, maybe this bottom factory doesn't get windows. Well, that helped, but now it looks like, why is this building on this giant platform? I mean, this campus has two things, buildings and platforms, and all the platforms are the same thickness, so this isn't going to work. That building on a building thing was a dumb idea. Yeah, this will work fine. It's not as fancy, but trying to keep this campus pretty minimal. Alright, time to think about how this thing is going to get fed from the miners, or can't go underground this time, so I'm going to make elevated. I think that'll be fine. I like how they could join together like that. These guys are copper. I'm not sure. I was thinking maybe those ones send the ore, along a thing that drops down and then goes in down here. There's space enough to run it. It's kind of an awkward trip though. I mean, I'd rather drop it down like all the other ones. Let me just check something. Oh shit, I forgot I put that floor in. That's what there's totally room. Screw that. In fact, there's enough room in that basement, I bet, for the little copper factory. I always want to make sure it'll fit. The way I do it, I'm not saying this is the way anyone else should do it. In fact, it's probably not, but on the question of, do you make the factory and then put a box around it, or do you make the building and then think about how the layout's going to go? What I try to do, it doesn't always work, is to do them at the same time. But to make sure it's going to work, I'll make the factory without paying any attention to the layout, just to get it working and see how much square footage I'm going to need for the different groups of machines. Because I don't know what the layout's going to be, but I need to know how much room I'm going to need. And in this case, I've got more than enough room in the basement for this whole copper factory. Alright, I'm just messing around with the shape of the factory itself this time. Don't have any idea what it should be, except that I know I want the entrance on that side, and on this side at some point, it's going to be a train station. I don't want to overthink the shape, I'm trying to keep things pretty minimal. I was wondering about maybe keeping it so simple that it's literally just a box, and then I just, add some ornamentation. Swoopy curves or something. Man, sometimes it's hard to tell which side is facing outward. Yeah, this might be going somewhere. Huh. I think maybe these lines are too chunky, That's not bad, but I sure don't know what I'm going to do on the other sides. That looks horrible. I don't think this is going to... I'm tired of thinking about this. I'm going to do something else. I'll try a different idea. I don't think this is going anywhere. Although I kind of like the general shape of this L, so that it turns the corner, and then that's where the entrance is. You can come in from different ways. I might keep that, but I think I'm going to just give up and resurrect a reincarnated design from my other save. Yeah, I'm actually surprised at how good this works. I put it through the filter of this new minimal style I'm using. Yeah. I'm going to call it done, I think. On the outside anyway. Okay, time to think about the inputs and where the belts come from. One nice thing about these inset foundations I'm using is it's a convenient way to hide belts. I should probably carry over those double lines that I'm using on every platform that looks like this and some of the buildings. That's where the copper's going to come in. These guys are going to send their shit in there. And I wish I had the blueprints thing for these miner bunkers. It's getting pretty tedious doing it over and over. I don't want to do anything real complicated for the interior, because I think if I just use the L shape of the building and make like an L-shaped atrium in the middle, I think that should be plenty. And I measured what I think I'm going to need in terms of constructors and assemblers. And I think it'll fit even if I, waste a little bit of space in the center, because it's a pretty big building. If I need more room, I can always use the middle on the ground floor, or I could just kill the atrium. Okay. I think that's as far as I want to take it till I get the coal over here and can be sure I've got enough room. I know where there's some coal. It's the same spot I found it last time, but I'm going to have to make a tower or something to get it over a cliff. I will show you what that looks like next time.